Welcome back. There is a kind of sound a man fears more than shouting. It's silence. Not accidental silence, but intentional withdrawal. She stops texting, stops calling, stops showing up, and suddenly you're not missing a conversation. You're drowning in the space between two messages. You check your phone again and again, not for the text, but for what it means. Did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? Did I already lose her? But what if I told you her silence is not a signal of rejection? It's a mirror, not a punishment, but a test. You see, when a woman withdraws, she doesn't always do it to disappear. Sometimes she's watching silently to see what kind of man you become when she's no longer applauding. You have power over your mind, Marcus Aurelius said, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her silence is not an attack. It's a canvas, and the way you respond to it paints the image of who you truly are. Most men crumble. They chase, they text again, they explain, they plead, and in that chaos, they hand over their power. But you're not here to chase noise. You're here to master silence. In this video, we're not just breaking down why she stopped talking. We're breaking down why your reaction to that silence defines your power as a man. We're going to explore the truth behind feminine silence, not from a place of fear, but from a place of presence. You'll learn how to stop assigning negative meaning to what you can't control, and start controlling what truly matters: your state of mind, your posture, your emotional gravity. Because when you stop reacting, you start attracting. And when you learn to stand still while others disappear, you become unforgettable. So stay with me. By the end of this, you won't just understand her silence. You'll learn to own yours. Now speak out and comment below. My power lives in silence. Number 1. Silence isn't rejection, it's reflection. Silence. It doesn't slam the door. It doesn't raise its voice. It simply disappears. And yet, it leaves the loudest echo in a man's mind. When a woman stops reaching out, most men instinctively panic. They interpret the absence of words as a verdict. She's done. She's lost interest. Maybe I'm not enough. But here's the truth. Stoicism forces us to confront the event is neutral. Your reaction writes the story. A woman's silence does not mean you failed. It often means she's retreating to feel. Women don't process through confrontation the same way men do. While men seek clarity and logic, women often seek clarity and distance. She may be overwhelmed. She may be confused. She may be protecting herself from falling too fast too soon. But you're the one who gives her silence its meaning, and that is both your danger and your gift. Because if you let your mind spiral, you'll become a man addicted to certainty, craving her reply like a fix, sacrificing your dignity for a single hey. But if you master the pause, if you welcome the unknown like a Stoic welcomes the storm, you shift the power. If you are distressed by anything external, said Marcus Aurelius, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And you can change your estimate. Her silence isn't a wall, it's a mirror. It reflects your wounds, your impatience, your emotional dependence, and that's the deeper lesson. Because if a woman's withdrawal is enough to derail your inner peace, it wasn't her you lost. It was yourself. This is where most men fail. They act too quickly. They send the second message, then the third, then the fourth, each one eroding their mystery and her attraction. But a man grounded in his presence waits, not because he's playing games, but because he refuses to make someone else's silence the center of his reality. He waits, not for her, but for his own clarity. He continues, he builds, he breathes, and in doing so, he becomes the kind of man a woman reconsiders losing. Now speak out and comment below. Her silence cannot shake a man who is whole. Number 2, her silence is a test, not a threat. A woman's silence can feel like a blade, cold, sharp, and final. But for the Stoic man, it is not a weapon. It is a question: will you hold your ground or will you chase shadows? You see, not every silence is punishment. Sometimes it's observation. She steps back not to run, but to see what kind of man are you when the spotlight fades. Do you crumble? Do you plead? Or do you remain unmoved? In modern dating, attention is currency. The one who gives too much of it too fast loses. But the Stoic man does not bargain with his peace. He understands something most. Her silence isn't always about you. Sometimes she's overwhelmed. Sometimes she's scared. Sometimes she needs space to desire again. And sometimes she's watching who you become in her absence. So don't flinch. Don't ask if she's okay every 4 hours. Don't post stories hoping she sees them. Don't try to spark a reaction, because a man who seeks reaction loses command. Instead, stand still, not frozen focused. Return to your mission, to your discipline, to your path. Let your silence say you are free to come or go, but I remain sovereign. This is not about indifference. This is about dominance over the one thing you own: yourself. A woman's silence is not an attack. It's an invitation to deepen your roots, to observe without reaching, to desire without needing. And here's the paradox. The man who doesn't chase her silence attracts her curiosity, because in a world full of boys who beg, a man who waits becomes a question she wants to answer. So remember, the most attractive response to uncertainty is stability. The strongest move is no move at all. Now comment below and declare, my peace is not up for negotiation. Number 3, her silence reveals you more than her. Silence does not reveal her. It reveals you, how you handle the quiet moments, how you respond when the validation disappears. That's when the mask falls off. You see, any man can appear strong when she's smiling, texting, praising. But when the room goes quiet, when she pulls back, stops calling, leaves the message on read, that's when the truth arrives. Do you spiral? Do you replay every word you said? Do you ask your friends what it might mean? Do you write a long paragraph hoping to fix what you can't even see? Or do you lean into the silence like a flame leans into the dark, calm, unafraid? The Stoic man doesn't panic, because silence is not chaos. Silence is clarity. It separates the man who needs her attention from the man who anchors his own. It divides the reactive from the composed, the external from the internal, the boy who performs from the man who possesses. Most men fear being ignored because they don't know who they are without someone watching. But listen closely. Her silence is not your punishment. It is your mirror. When she doesn't speak, the question is not, why isn't she reaching out? The question is, what does this silence awaken in me? Is it fear, insecurity, ego, good? Now is the time to confront it, not to suppress it, not to perform over it, but to observe it like a Stoic observes the storm without becoming it. Because here's the truth: if her silence can move you to chase panic or lose yourself, you were never in control to begin with. But if you can sit with the unknown without demanding closure, without reaching for validation, then you become something few men ever master: a man who does not run from the void, a man who does not beg to be seen, a man who commands respect without noise. So when she is silent, remember, she's not revealing herself. She's revealing you. Now speak out and comment below. I do not fear the silence, I face it. Number 4, the Stoic response. When you don't chase, you lead. There is a moment when every man must decide, do I react or do I respond? She pulls away. The messages stop. You feel it, that itch to fix it, explain yourself, fill the silence with words. But the Stoic doesn't chase. He observes. Because chasing a woman in silence is like shouting into fog. It doesn't bring her closer. It only proves your dependence. She pulls back. You pause. She goes quiet. You hold your frame. You don't beg. You don't perform. You lead by standing still. Not out of pride, but out of principle. You understand her silence is not a command. It's a test. And your restraint is your answer. She wants to know, can you hold your center when she disappears into herself? Can you stay rooted when the wind of uncertainty blows? Because if your value collapses the moment her voice fades, you are borrowing her presence to feel strong. But if you keep walking your path, if your mission continues, your eyes stay clear, your voice remains slow, your days remain full, then her silence becomes just another sound. Not a scream for attention, not a cue for performance, just space. And space, my friend, only magnifies the weight of a man who doesn't flinch. Women don't remember the man who texted 10 times. They remember the man whose silence spoke louder than desperation ever could. A man who didn't collapse, a man who didn't chase, a man who became more magnetic by doing nothing. That's the paradox. When you don't try to pull her back, she starts to lean in. Not because you manipulated her, but because she finally saw you. Not the you who performs, but the you who remains. Now speak out and comment below. When I do not chase, I lead. Number 5. Her silence is a mirror. What it reflects back to you. What if I told you her silence isn't about her, it's about you? About what rises in you when she disappears. About the ghosts that echo louder when her voice fades. Because silence doesn't just expose her intentions, it reveals your wounds. Do you crumble under the weight of not being chosen? Do you spiral into stories? She must be with someone else. I wasn't good enough. She played me. Or do you finally meet the boy inside you, the one who still begs to be seen? That's the uncomfortable gift of her silence. It confronts you with the parts of yourself you've tried to outrun with validation. But here's what Stoicism teaches us. You are not owed attention. You are not entitled to certainty. And no woman's reply determines your worth. Her silence is a mirror. It reflects your hunger for external approval. It shows whether you've built your house on her voice or your own foundation. You don't run from that reflection. You face it. You look into your own discomfort and you say, this is where my work begins. Not by sending another message, not by stalking her social media, but by sitting in the fire and letting it forge a new man. The kind who doesn't fear being alone. The kind who doesn't need a reply to feel whole. The kind who sees silence as an opportunity to anchor deeper into self-respect. Because once you stop fearing her distance, you start commanding her respect. Not through punishment, but through presence. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder why you didn't chase. Because the man who doesn't panic in silence is the man she can't stop thinking about. Now speak out and comment below. Her silence reflects me and I choose to rise. Number 6. When you stop chasing, she starts feeling. Chasing is loud, but real power is quiet. Every time you rush to explain yourself, to ask why she hasn't replied, to apologize for something she never brought up, you confirm the one thing that kills attraction. You need her more than she needs you. And women don't chase neediness, they're drawn to groundedness. You see, when a woman goes silent, most men panic. They try to fix, to chase, to fill the silence with noise. But a Stoic man does the opposite. He leans back. He doesn't chase mystery, he becomes the mystery. Because deep down, her silence is not always rejection. It's an unconscious test. Not to manipulate, but to measure, will you remain centered or collapse? When you stop reaching, she starts wondering, why hasn't he followed up? Did I lose him? Is he different? And that shift is everything. It's not about playing games. It's about refusing to play the game where your peace is traded for her attention. So you hold your frame. You go for a run instead of rereading her last message. You write your goals down instead of overthinking. You create, build, grow until your value becomes so high, you no longer ask, will she come back? You ask, does she even qualify for who I'm becoming? That's not ego, that's evolution. A man who stops chasing isn't punishing her, he's honoring himself. And in doing so, he becomes the gravity she can't escape. Now comment below, I don't chase, I choose. Number 7. When she comes back, let her feel the difference. She reappears not with an apology, but a casual message. Hey, how have you been? As if nothing happened. And this is the moment most men break. They jump at the message. They reply instantly. They pour their relief into their response, hoping it'll restart what was lost. But not you, because you've changed. Not out of spite, not out of pride, but because the silence taught you something no conversation could. You are not the man who waits around. You're the man who builds in the dark. When she vanished, you didn't freeze. You expanded. You invested in yourself. You remembered who you were without needing her to reflect it back. So when she returns, you don't rush. You don't punish. You respond not to pull her back in, but to show her who's still here, a man of direction, of depth, of detachment. You keep it simple, calm, boundaried. Hey, good to hear from you. Been working on some new things, that's it. No explanations, no emotional fireworks, no resentment or reward. You don't give her the old version of you, the one who craved her attention. You give her the new version, the one who grew without it. Because you've realized something profound, you don't need her back. If she aligns with the man you're becoming, she'll stay. If not, she'll fade again. And this time, you won't chase. You'll keep moving. Because you're not just reacting to the silence anymore, you're speaking through it. And the message is clear. You don't have to stay. But if you do know this, you're entering the life of a man who doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, and never forgets who he is. Now speak out and comment below. She comes and goes. I remain. Number 8. The hidden power of emotional control. She won't say it, but she feels it. She feels the shift. The moment you stop reacting, when she sends a cold message and you don't chase after warmth. When she pulls away and you don't beg her to return. When she tests you with silence and you answer with peace. That's when she looks at you differently, not just as a man, but as a force. Because emotional control is the rarest currency a man can possess in the modern world. In a world that tells men to be more expressive, more reactive, more emotional, she's secretly watching for the opposite. The man who can feel deeply, but move slowly. The man who can experience pain, but not perform it. The man who can sit with the discomfort of silence without needing to break it to feel worthy again. Women test not to hurt, but to feel. To feel if the man in front of them is solid, a structure she can lean on, not a wave she has to ride. Because every woman, whether she admits it or not, wants to feel safe in your presence, not just physically, but emotionally. And safety doesn't come from flowers, dinners, or sweet words. It comes from a man who doesn't flinch, not when she delays, not when she withdraws, not when she doubts. He listens, he understands, but he never trades his self-respect for reassurance. You see, the average man panics when a woman pulls back. He asks, "Are you okay?" He sends her long messages. He tries to overcompensate to fix her silence. But he doesn't realize he's teaching her something dangerous, that he's emotionally dependent on her response. And that destroys polarity. Because once she knows she can control your emotional state, she no longer trusts it. But a Stoic man, he never reacts. He responds. He doesn't assume the worst. He doesn't spiral into overthinking. He simply watches, observes, and waits. He understands that attraction isn't built in noise. It's built in restraint. That his silence is not absence. It's presence in a higher form. A silence that says, I know who I am, and nothing you do can make me forget. This is the ultimate power, to stay calm when others provoke, to stay centered when others drift, to stay grounded even when everything inside wants to shake. This isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about owning them, channeling them, alchemizing them into strength. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's your anchor. She may come back, she may not, but you remain. Because your value was never dependent on her attention. It was built in the silence, forged in solitude, refined through self-respect. And the moment you stop letting her emotional winds dictate your direction is the moment she starts to see you as irreplaceable. Because while every other man is still trying to win her, you're already mastering yourself." Now comment below, "I remain unmoved. That's my power." So many men spend their lives chasing replies, waiting for validation, begging for clarity in the noise of a woman's silence. But you've chosen something else. You've chosen stillness. You've chosen mastery. You've chosen to stop dancing for attention and start walking your own path with or without her beside you. Because here's the truth she will feel whether she ever admits it or not. When a man detaches not to punish, but to protect his peace, his absence echoes louder than his words ever could. It lingers in her chest. It replays in her memory. It awakens something ancient, primal in her heart. Not because you disappeared, but because you reappeared in your full presence. A man no longer swayed by her availability, but anchored in his own. This is what Stoicism isn't just about. It's not about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear on who you are. Clear on what you tolerate. Clear on what deserves your energy. So when the silence comes again, and it will, you won't react. You'll reflect. You'll refine. You'll rise. And in doing so, you won't just respond differently. You'll become someone no silence can intimidate. Because you're not here to chase affection. You're here to radiate presence. You're not here to win her back. You're here to win yourself back. And once you do, something powerful happens. She starts to wonder what she walked away from. Not because you proved anything, but because you didn't need to. You became the message. You became the silence, and now you are unforgettable. Now speak out and comment below. I am the presence she remembers in the silence.